War. War never changes.
What is up, guys? You already know who it is. HecticSherlock here. And today is great. Today marks the first episode of my playthrough of Experiment DCM Shadow. Now, if you guys are just now tuning in, if this is your first time, you may or may not know what Experiment DCM is, but it's basically the sequel to Experiment DCM, which is a RPG take on Fallout 4. It adds RPG elements to this game, and it makes it pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience. So if you haven't seen already, you should probably go ahead and check out my other Experiment DCM videos just to get an idea of what this playthrough will be like. And if you're one of my returning viewers, then you already know what this is, and this is awesome. I didn't think Darkstalker 31 would be making a sequel to this mod so fast. I didn't even think he would be making a sequel, actually, but he did, and this is awesome. So let's take a look at the description here. It says, "You are now entering Experiment DCM Shadow. This is a sequel to the previous Experiment DCM and a continuation of what the good doctor has been up to. Kicked out of the Commonwealth Institute of Technology for practicing and studying the afterdeath, the area between life and death, this place is usually referred to as Purgatory. And what's in this Purgatory, you ask? You're the adventurer with the keen intellect and a knack for getting hit in the face. You tell me. So you should check it out and unfold the mysteries that is Experiment DCM Shadow. Important note, this adventure is meant for high-level players and requires you to have at least 7 to 8 points in your special stats. This adventure is hard and you will learn through experience. All those not wanting a challenge and like shooting at butterflies, then please do not attempt. Inspiration for this game, or inspiration for this particular mod? Dante's Inferno, Dark Souls, Diablo, Dead Space. He's just not figuring out he likes games with the letter D. Please do enjoy this, and as this took an incredible amount of time to put out, as I am a one-man armor." And it goes on to explain the load order. It says this mod is massive, not sure how the Xbox will handle it. And it also has some FAQ here, and I'll let you guys read that. You can pause the video and check that out. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so here we are in Sanctuary as usual. This is home, this is where we begin. And as you can see, as soon as you start up the game, as soon as you load into your saved game, the quest just already goes ahead and it begins. It starts right off. And you just see the quest pop right up on the screen, basically. Experiment DCM Shadow. And there you see we got Experiment DCM, Project DCM, the Morality Life Choices, the Experiment DCM Underground Lab, and the main quest Experiment DCM Shadow. I went ahead and unclicked the other two because I've already done the Project DCM. I've already found all the keys for the first one, and I just want to go ahead and play DCM Shadow, really. Had to get some things in order. And DCM Shadow takes place in the same place as Project DCM did, in near the Roxbury station. So as soon as you get to where you need to go to enter for either Project DCM or DCM Shadows.
The security gates to the lower levels have opened. You may turn around now before it's too late, or continue if you dare.
It basically asks you if you've played Project DCM before if you've completed the first one, and if you'd like to skip it, that's awesome. Thank you, man, for that, because I really didn't want to have to play through Project DCM again. I mean, not that it was bad, but I mean, that was hard enough. I'm just ready for the next challenge. So as usual, we have the radiation to deal with, and I wanted to put on my hazmat suit to see if that would help at all, and it didn't, unfortunately. I think the only way to really combat the radiation is to have a gas mask. So if you don't have a gas mask, I suggest you have a bunch of Rad-X and a bunch of Radaway, because you're just not going to survive more than like 2 minutes in this place without those two things. Without a lot of meds or just the gas mask. I really do love the RPG elements. It's like, it's amazing.
You sense multiple movements and hear the sound of many ghouls. The air carries the stench of the laboratory filled with nauseous gases.
This is always a grim scene. There's always like 1,000 ghouls in here in the beginning. I remember when I was first played through on Project DCM, just like nothing but ghouls. Like, what is this? Why is there so many? It's just a massacre. Like, you have to kill so many ghouls in the beginning. Look at that. All just a pile of dead ghouls right there. Like, Jesus. Yeah, he got wrecked. Real sad that I was running out of ammo. I was like, crap, I don't have any ammo left. How am I going to be able to complete, like, all of this? It really was sad, though. Just like, no. Tried to find a decent weapon to lead with, basically. I'm a silent tactical type of guy. I like to really deal on the sneak damage and get like sneak damage plus sneak crit damage, and that's just how I like to play. I don't like to go guns blazing. I really don't. So here it is. Right up here is the entrance into DCM Shadow. It's looks like its entrance is within Project DCM, but yeah, it's like it has its own separate facility, which is cool. That's fine. I could rock with that. Has an eerie feel to it, like you know something just changed.
You continue through the lab into a heavily radiated vast cave with running water. It seems to be unmaintained for quite some time as you notice the vines, fungus, and mold.
This guy's voice is just made for this. Really though.
The air here is humid, and the water has an odd smell.
His voice is just so perfect for like the dialogue of hints and stuff. Now let's talk about this cave for a second. It looks absolutely amazing too.
You wonder what this place was built for as you keep pushing forward through the thick irradiated air.
I wonder how long it took him to make it. You know,
see a rusty lift ahead, hopefully still functional.
What was his inspiration for making this cave? It looks really cool. Oh snap! Listen to that music, that change and dynamic. It lets you know something is about to go down. Something eerie is about to go down. Never mind that really high jump. I was still having problems with this mod that causes me to jump really high. It gives me like super inhuman jump. That is never a good sign.
The lights get smashed one by one. Something doesn't want you here.
So creepy. This is why it's called DCM Shadow. Be very quiet. Seriously though, that's just creepy, right? There's some fear factor to that. This is like he has you stuck in a cutscene that you can't move around in. So it's basically a cutscene. And you see this shadowy figure off in the distance. And I did like a complete 360 that it just disappears. And I still can't move. Got all these weird noises. What sounds like breathing. Nope. You gotta love this. Now I know you guys just seen that, like the skeleton and boxes and stuff appear, that it just disappears. I don't know if that's supposed to happen, but that was weird. That threw me off too. So far, this mod is looking very promising in the scare factor.
You feel a tremor. This building isn't structurally sound anymore.
Now, I know that shadowy figure we saw was up here, but I don't see it, so maybe it went away. Hopefully.
You hear noises of something crawling around above you. A note on the table to your left catches your eye.
Now you see, in this particular part, it said a note to your left catches your eye on the table, but I was so distracted by this thing. I really wanted to know why I couldn't kill it. And we find that out later on in the video, but yeah, this thing is basically unkillable by normal weapons. I mean, as you can see, a direct hit and nothing. Didn't even lose an ounce of health. I was afraid that thing was going to be able to get out somehow and wreck me.
Terminal only.
So we just saw from that terminal, it says caution, most experiments have been released.
Find out this
and that they were
complex still
basically
has several
extremely
control panels
dangerous.
active. Find each one and bring them back online using the proper sequence. Terminal's got this locked.
Experimental travel and access to what we know as purgatory successful. Whenever I'm there, I feel tired, weak, and as though my body is being pulled apart. I see apparitions, physical manifestations of what was, and yet they survive. While this is beyond scientific reason, being open-minded about this would greatly benefit my research. I must keep this a secret. If others find out, this could destroy me and everything I've worked on.
So we just heard actually one of the scientists speaking. And this note basically just talks about that monster that's on the other side of the glass right there. And basically how it's invincible except to one type of weapon. And it's a gamma weapon. And gamma weapons are what this thing is immune to. And when exposed to a gamma weapon, it explodes. But yeah, we just heard from one of those scientists working on this particular experiment from a holotape that he had been to purgatory, and basically how it makes him feel. He said, I mean, more or less, he basically explained an out of body experience in which he sees a manifestation of things maybe that are not there. I'm not sure really how far. I mean, as we go along, I'm sure we'll find more holotapes and he'll explain it further, but sounds pretty creepy if you ask me.
Terminal's gotta be somewhere.
Now in this part, as soon as I entered this particular part of the quest mod, I noticed that some of the textures weren't completely loaded in, like the walls of this cave. And I mean, I don't know if that's because, you know, maybe my Xbox couldn't handle the load or the workload for it. But there is plenty of parts in this place where the textures just weren't loading, and this was happening more so throughout the video. And I thought maybe if I exited out and logged back in that it would fix it, but it didn't. Now here's our first, like, more or less RPG decision. I mean, we're looking at a soul right now, and it's basically just telling us to choose what to do, maybe to absolve the soul, or I don't know, maybe to look down upon the soul because of what it's done. But you know, I chose the more good-hearted karmic route. But it looks like that person had hung themselves in the trees.
You enter a large industrial
that was
building
the right choice.
with still functioning machinery.
I mean, you really can't punish someone for committing suicide, but I don't know. There's more to it. We don't know the backstory or whatever, so. But seriously, a not-so-curious dresser, I'm sure you would check it. I'm sure you would just check it just to see. Why would it be called not-so-curious dresser? I mean, come on. The bait is real. And as far as the textures, the wall textures in the mod not loading, I know he's updated the game since I've made this video, so I'm hoping maybe some of that is fixed. I'll have to go back and take a look and see for myself. So here I try reloading the game to see if it would fix some of the missing textures of the walls and the caves. And it did for some of them, but not all of them, unfortunately. Sad face. But I decided to keep playing on. I was too far into it, and I want to know how this mod ends. Little eerie music to change the mood again. God, I love this in-game music. This is great. This mod is really just being spooky so far, and I love it.
It's a little too quiet in here.
You don't say. It's a little too quiet. But yeah, as you can see here, in certain instances of this place, the mod textures weren't loading. It was really cramping my style. I was really upset about this. But hopefully his recent updates have fixed all that. This place is huge, and there is definitely a lot to explore. And then just, you know, on cue, the music stops. Like a pin drop or something. So it was weird that the textures weren't loading fully all the way, but as I went through certain instances of the building, like it's like the past textures would go out and then the textures of the room I was currently in would just load up. So it's weird, but I mean, I guess it works.
It's stuck.
I just wish all textures were loaded so I wouldn't have to guess at where I'm going, you know?
Useless.
So there has to be a terminal somewhere around here, somewhere between these two particular places that will allow me to
You
open up
approach
that
a
door.
large demolished area. Could this be another cave-in, or done on purpose?
And it's bad because, I mean, because the textures weren't loading, I couldn't see what was supposed to be there. And maybe there's something important there. Alright, our first clue into what needs to be done in this particular quest mod. And as you saw, within that box was some stored notes. And I guess these notes are going to have hints in them as what to do, and, you know, possibly hints at other things, and that will basically help you progress through the game. And then my, you know, immediate reaction was to look through like every box that I could find now. So we'll take a look at these notes, these clues. And I can only imagine that was like an up kind of arrow in the letter D. That looked like it was 2C. And I'm sure that's 4B. And I mean, I really don't know what any of these clues mean. I don't know what they go to, but I'm sure they go to something, and they'll come in handy in the future, so at least we have them. Weird, I wonder what they go to. But that's pretty much it for the first video. So far, this mod is looking pretty cool, pretty creepy. I like it. RPG elements are on point as usual. It's turning out to be pretty promising so far. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in for the first episode, and stay tuned for more. As always, you guys rock, and peace. I decided to slow down time just to see what it was looking like. Majestic, really.